we're live.
Alright, thank you for coming tonight. Please help me open with the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have the roll call?
Trustee Jesperson?
Here.
Trustee Graham?
Here.
Fiscal officers here. Interim township administrator and superintendent of public works.
Here.
Chief of fire.
Here.
Chief of police.
Here.
Code compliance.
Here.
Thank you. Our next meeting will be December 21st, 2023, here at 999 Chambers Road at 6:30. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to accept the agenda with flexibility. Second.
Trustee Graham?
Yes.
Trustee Jesperson?
Yes. I would like to take a moment to exercise that flexibility. I completely forgot to add my monthly celebration to the agenda. But for December, I chose Universal Human Rights Month. So unfortunately, in our country and our world today, we have all seen our share of cruelty and hate. We can do better. When we know better, we do better. So this month serves as a reminder that every person has basic human rights, and it's also a time to reflect on the way that we treat others. On to fiscal.
Motion to approve the bills.
So moved.
Trustee Graham?
Yes.
Trustee Jesperson?
Yes.
Motion to approve payroll.
So moved.
Yes, second?
Okay, Trustee Graham?
Yes.
Trustee Jesperson? Motion to approve the November 2nd meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Graham?
Yes.
Trustee Jesperson?
Yes.
Motion to approve the November special meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second?
Number 7. Trustee Graham?
Yes.
Trustee Jesperson?
Yes.
I'm going to now read the November fiscal report. Last month, the township started November 1st with $10,515,687.03. Revenue last month was $466,330.48. Expenditures in the month of November were $1,046,117.65, leaving us with an overall fund balance of $9,935,899.86. So, request approval of the fiscal report.
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Grimm?
Yes.
Trustee Jesperson?
Yes.
And I'll just quickly add, November is normally a kind of expensive month for us. We're doing the bond payment and I think we're doing payment on equipment. So that's why we spent over $1 million last month. Motion to amend the 2023 permanent appropriations.
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Grimm?
Yes.
Trustee Jesperson?
Yes.
Motion to approve the 2024 permanent appropriations.
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Grimm?
Yes.
Trustee Jesperson?
Yes.
Motion to approve a wage and benefit stabilization fund going into the year 2024.
So moved.
Second?
Just a quick moment on that. That will help when folks retire. This is a larger payouts. This is something we'll have further discussion about. But Melissa and I think it will be one fund, whether it's paying out police or firefighters or administration. So that will help stabilize things. All right, and my last motion, motion to.
We didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. On the discussion.
So would that have any sort of confusion if they're coming from separate line items? If they're coming from, like, are police gonna dump a certain amount every year and fire gonna dump a certain amount every year into this, or is this all gonna be from general?
We thought it might sort of borrow against the income tax support. So if fire was used to getting $300,000, maybe we would all choose with fire chief to put $50,000 in the stabilization fund and send the other $250,000 in the fire fund. within the stabilization fund, there'll be line items that say 210 is police, 230 is EMS. So there'll be ways to keep it clear how it's gonna be spent. So nobody can go into it without board approval. We'll have discussions later about where that money is coming from.
But, so within the fund, there'll just be specific line items saying, okay, this money belongs to police, this money belongs to fire. This
Yes.
money belongs to,
Yes, per
General.
year when you're appropriating. And we can have more conversations with legal. You could have a separate police wage stabilization fund, and it's married forever to that outcome. It's possible that as we turn over every year, if there's 100,000 left, we might decide to put 70,000 in one line and 25,000 together. The nice thing about them being in separate funds is they're kind of more obligated for that outcome. Because it could take 3 years for some of these payouts to happen. We can start with one, and if we decide we want to have more than one, we can always do that later. Right now, what's been happening without this fund is just the payroll line item gets a big hit when somebody who's been here 30 years retires.
I understand the value of separating it, because then we can more closely state, okay, this money has happened because of retirement, and they can see that from like an audit perspective, why that would be beneficial. I would just feel bad if, like, I would like to be able to designate between which of the different departments are these people retiring from. I think that would be important. So can we talk further through that?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Any more discussion? Like, we're not moving money, it's just creating the place for it to go to.
I know, but I question, should we, if we're gonna create something like this, there should be, I feel like it would be better to have more than one fund.
We can come to the board later and request another fund. Tonight I was only requesting one fund. You wanna make it funds? You'd prefer a separate police and fire stabilization fund?
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems pretty organized how you said it though.
Yeah, I mean, there's,
As long as we can distinguish inside the fund who belongs to what, I'm fine with it.
okay, yes, you can. That's the middle code on these line items. 110 is like general,
Okay.
230 is EMS, 210 is cops. Okay. Trustee Grimm,
Yes.
trustee Jesper.
Yes.
Now my last motion to approve the pay and health insurance benefits that the township employees have for elected officials at the rates set by the ORC for the year 2024.
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Grimm,
Yes.
trustee Jesper.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
On to committee and team reports, for the chat, for November, with our, produce markets, there was 11,000 pounds, and it was distributed to 444 individuals. The next produce market is December 8th, which is tomorrow, over at 3820 Cleveland Avenue, Fire Bay, drive-through style, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then starting back in January, we'll go back to 2 produce markets a month. And those dates through June are already on our webpage.
Yeah, I assumed that they were gonna be the same Fridays each month.
They're the second and fourth Friday. of every
Correct.
month.
Okay.
Anything else to add to that, Chamberlain?
I don't think so.
On to administration.
I've submitted a monthly report to the board. And just a couple things I'll note on here that I participated in the Veterans Day celebration. It was a nice turnout. I'd like to see it larger as we move forward. I think Deborah Smothers working with her. And we'll try to increase the volume of turnout in the future. Been working with the all-secured lock system. Been having some issues with that. I'm trying to get a meeting with them to come in and kind of work through some of the issues that arise through their process. And just Want to note that the Franklin County administrators have started a monthly meeting program. That all administrators get online and discuss things in our communities and stuff. once a month. And we're excited to do that. That's basically the meetings. Moving on. Been brought up about maybe an employee appreciation lunch. And Deborah Smothers and us have been talking about it. And we want to see if we can maybe get board support for this. There'll probably be about 30 employees that staff there that day. And then probably $400 or less, correct, Deb?
Yeah.
Deborah?
Correct.
And it'd be, what day did we have? 20?
We're looking at a couple different dates right now. We're looking at either the 19th or the 20th of December. Again, this is just, depending on who's all available at that time. I know a couple people are out, but either the 19th or 20th of December.
So what I'm asking is a motion to be able to spend no more than $400 for a luncheon for the employees on one of the 2 days.
Second?
Trustee Grant? Trustee Baxter?
Yes.
Thank you. Then the next couple items, I'll turn it over to Deborah Smothers. She's our community person, and these are kind of items that she is in favor of or is digging deep into.
All right, thanks, Dave. I took a deep dive. I talked to some people, Dave and Chief Jones, a little bit about this, and I made you some folders up. So the first thing is to do a Letters to Santa program. This is a relatively low-cost program. What it does is it enables the children in the community to drop off the letters to the township hall. I already have some communication with respect to how that would be pushed out, how to get a letter from Santa. I even provided a template for them to access on our website, a little form letter, if you will. And then also perhaps purchasing a mailbox. I've already picked one out. There are thousands of them out there. This one I have a picture of, along with the price of the mailbox, to have inside of the lobby at 3820, since we have people there from 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. And then I have specific cutoff times. They can drop it off between tomorrow and the 18th. Probably won't get a mailbox tomorrow, but we'll be happy to run down to Menards and go pick one up with the credit card. And then they also have the opportunity for Santa to write them back if they provide their name and address. And then I also have form letters with respect to if they get a letter from Santa before Christmas and what that language looks like, or if they get the letter from Santa after Christmas and what that language looks like on those 2 different types of letters. So just write a letter to Santa and give us your name and address if you want him to write it. If you want him to write you back, it doesn't say by when, and just kind of pull the curtain back on a couple other townships, and it's kind of similar to what they're doing. They're actually having them drop the letters off. So it's kind of a fun family activity. Hey, if you haven't already wrote your letter to Santa, do it now and drop it off. With respect to that, Dave, do we need to do a motion to purchase the mailbox for the letters to Santa? If we want to move forward with that.
My understanding is because it's under a certain amount.
We don't have to? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, perfect then. Township buildings, festive decor. I have a picture of what that looks like. It's your basic greenery in the pot
It's very cute.
in front of the township. That's what it looks like. It's not the great big huge blow up animated snow globes and dinosaurs, Christmas dinosaurs. It's basically, pretty low key. If we can get a couple planters for the front of the building just to kind of fall in line with our beautiful Christmas lights that I know Dave's team's been feverishly working on. And then the last thing real quick is the holiday contest. I want to try to get that out too, for both residents and businesses. Again, I got a communication piece on what that looks like, and also the language to the, on social media. This will also be on our website. Gives them an opportunity to submit pictures at our general info at clintontownship.org website. It's for a category for business and category for residents, $100 prize. We could do first, second, and third for a resident, first, second, and third for business. But again, this is just putting together something and pushing it out for just the winner gets $100 for both the resident and the commercial.
What kind of, I'm just curious, what kind of, can we do a prize amount?
That's news to me. I don't know.
The other townships do it, so that it must be on some level legal. And I do have the names of those townships that are doing it, which is Orange and Perry.
Okay.
And Plain City also, I think, is.
Right, but do they have a township organization that's donating that money? Because we can't give those to people, we've looked into that before.
We'll need to look more into it.
We'll look more into
I
it.
think the general spirit is we'd love
I
to,
didn't-
we just don't know legally how to. I know
I
we have
didn't-
employee luncheon, I don't
Mhm.
know if we can do a $100 contest, but.
Okay,
We
so,
do like a plaque like we do for the.
Can we do a gift card?
No, that's still.
No,
No.
we can do a plaque. The chiefs are probably hunting a good dog, I'm assuming that there might be a civic association that supports what you've seen from other townships.
okay, I can make up a couple phone calls tomorrow, but I'm ready to pull the trigger on all 4 of these initiatives that we just
I
discussed.
mean, you can also start with just recognition and not have a
And-
prize this year.
It's the prize is the carrot. It enables those people who basically, I don't know if I want to decorate, I don't know if I want to get in the spirit or not. And then they see maybe I will drag off all those 10 totes from the basement and decorate because I know I can decorate.
And if we're gonna do the letters to Santa, can we put a mailbox on this side too? There are some kids over here who might wanna.
We don't have anybody to actually get the letters. Like if we had the actual mailbox. Ours is secured because it's in the lobby. I mean, that's the rub, I guess, about the having them do the letters to Santa, that they would need to be dropped off at the township hall because it's a secure location, the mailbox. I've seen lots of examples where they have beautiful mailboxes outside their township doors, where it's a nice, you should see some of these mailboxes. Like, they look professional Santa Claus mailbox. But for the sake of us having the mailbox in a secured location, like if it's out, there's no one to get the letters. There's no one to, I guess, keep an eye on the mailbox.
That just, not includes a lot of residents though. That's my only problem with it.
Would you be willing to drive them over?
Yeah.
How you gonna promote this? People don't know about the letters of Santa.
Deborah will get the word out, and I think people will see it. And this is the first.
It's a new initiative. It's something new, fun, and exciting. And again, we're kind of, I won't say COVID is over. God knows it's not. But it's kind of getting past the past couple years where we weren't able to really do anything at all, and everybody got into that, that funk. Bobby has some questions.
No, I don't have a question. You do know that we have our own decoration contest over here that the UVCA sponsors. We have a resident who for the last 4 years has donated money for first prizes in the decoration contest, and we have our own decoration contest over here every year. Our judging this year is on weekend before Christmas. And there's three categories with first place prize of $100, and then the Civic Association donates $50 for second place prize.
I don't think that information was ever shared with me.
And Ben usually wins
I-
because he's just insane.
Completely out of the loop. No, I wasn't aware. But this
Exactly.
initiative would be township-wide, not just for the area over here, on, around this area. What do you call it? UV area? University View area? When you have your University View Civic
Well,
Associations?
I don't know, if you
Events?
want to do township wide, that's fine. Like I say, that we already have our own over here, I don't know whether that means it's possible that somebody over here could win in both both contests, the Civic Association and the other one. I mean, that would be a possibility.
It could be.
So I think, I love these ideas, and I think that this can happen this year, but I think listening to this conversation is it's very clear, because I know you and I have talked about it, that we need to be doing more outreach and communication, because the East Side doesn't have a civic association. And so there's a lot of things that happen over here that don't happen on the East Side.
Right.
But then, we try to do big events on the East Side, and then we try to bring them over here. And it's just a lot of, I think, not to put a damper on this thing, but I think we have to do a better job of not always doing the whole playing East Side, West Side. Well, the East Side has this, the West Side has this, the East Side doesn't have this, but they have this, because we're one township.
Right.
And it is extremely difficult because we are divided because of just that annexation that happened. But I think that we mostly do an okay job of making it work. If they want the mailbox over here, that's fine, but it's gonna be a deadline. So it's gotta be checked daily.
I'm fine with that.
Because you're working with kids. And the last thing that we want are disappointed kids because the mailbox wasn't checked. So I don't know if that's something Public Works, if you guys are coming over here a lot, I know police are over here, I don't wanna volunteer police to do this. But when there's the West Side officer over here daily, if that's something that they could do so it doesn't fall on,
We can make the trip over here. My concern is, just vandals. I don't know
Right.
how that is over here.
I don't think we have that much of a problem with
It sounds like we should do the mailboxes on both sides, work through, if staff or trustee Green in between staff wants to help, and then, probably wait for next year as far as the decorating contest, because we need to get caught up to the good work UBCA is doing over here. We wish we had an East Side Civic Association, we don't.
Well, wait a minute, I want to revisit that. Are you saying that because there's already a decorating contest over here, inclusive to just, as you would say, West Side, that having a decorating contest that we would push out for each category for resident and business, inclusive township, we don't care if somebody's already won it, that's won it from the West Side. We just want to create a total inclusive township activity.
I love the idea of doing that. I think the only issue with doing that, in my opinion, is the monetary portion of it and whether or not we can provide a gift card and if we can promise something like that.
Plus you're in a short term too, you're talking 7th of December,
Yeah, plus it's kind of short term on that, but,
Well,
3 weeks.
if I may, a lot of the other contests that I see happening through other townships are having them, the end date is completely subjective because people decorate literally a day or two, sometimes before at Christmas.
well, if there isn't a deadline on it, then can we look into the monetary thing and then talk about it at the next meeting? Because I just don't know if we can approve, or we would have to figure out the prizes portion of it.
No, I mean the deadline, like if we were to start the contest tomorrow,
But we can't start the contest
No,
tomorrow
I'm just
until they
saying,
confirm that.
the
So as
deadline,
soon-
the ending deadline date.
And then the next time that we're meeting will be 2 weeks from now. So we would be able to confirm what type of prizes that we could have in 2 weeks. We could start it in 2 weeks and then have the deadline go to mid-January.
For the decorating contest?
Yeah,
I don't think that's a good idea. A lot
The
of
decorating
people-
contest typically ends before Christmas.
And a lot of people, right after the new year, take everything down.
Now, the judging can be after, you know, the judging and the announcing of the winner. But typically, with all due respect, the decorating contests are usually till before Christmas.
I'm really sure we can't financially do anything with the contest.
Okay.
We can confirm that later with attorneys, but
It moves along. I'll donate the first two. The first prize for both of them. I'll contribute $200.
I would also chip in. if needed.
So I think we can do it as a volunteer money.
could we designate that, and I would wanna check this with the attorneys too, but can we designate like prized donations by like residents? Cause I don't know, that just, I don't know, it feels like it could
we'll
just
be
get-
required to.
Yeah.
Yes. If there's any money going out, it's gonna be from private funds.
Well, that's ours. Right.
Like yours is, yeah.
You have a disclaimer, I'm sure, on what funds.
Well, it's the civic association.
Civic association.
It's theirs, it's not ours, so this is where.
And well, this
Separate
resident,
entity.
for at least the last, what, 4 or 5 years, has donated the money for our decoration contest.
And then we get money from some of the smaller festivals. We used to have a lot of money come in when we had spaghetti dinners and stuff like that.
I'm hoping to maybe do a membership drive next year and get some more money. We haven't had one for a long time. But with the interest and stuff that we've got now from these young couples, I really want to start, trying to get stuff going again. And the letters to the Santa thing, we've got all these couples with these little kids. I'm sure they would love that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could put a box like in the doorway out here, outside, that nobody, would be in that here.
Yeah,
And I think most kids would love it.
yeah, I think it'd be really cute.
Yeah, we got a lot more,
Yeah, we have lots of young
a lot of
kids now.
newborns, yeah.
Yep.
So it sounds like we'll do the letters to Santa on both sides of the township and pull off this township-wide decorating effort with some private donations from.
As long as we can designate it's private donations, then I think we would be fine.
And that'll be on the flyer and the advertisement that prizes have been donated by private individuals.
Okay. And good?
This doesn't interfere with what we've got going, does it?
No.
Like,
It
use
does
them in
not.
residence, but not directly.
Okay.
I'm so Carol.
Is the township doing any, donations to needy children this year? Yes.
Yes.
You taking contributions?
Here's the main desk right there.
Okay.
Heroes and helpers.
I'll see you at the end of the meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
I just want to say thanks everyone for
You tried to
entertaining
have the
me.
Target, because that's coming up, right, the Target thing? Where they take
Yeah.
against the Target?
The 13th, next week.
Okay. I'll give you some money.
Okay, we'll talk.
So just to confirm, we're doing the holiday decoration contest. We're gonna do the letters of Santa. We're gonna we're gonna put a mailbox over here and then come up with like a who can check it what day list. And then maybe send out like a sign-up sheet to everybody on the email, and then like I'll let me sign up first since I live over here. And then any days that I know that I'm gonna be out of town, then we can have other people come over here and check it.
Yeah, we can figure it out. But basically somebody on the weekends.
Yep.
We can take
Yeah,
care of
Monday
your
through Friday's taken care of. That one's fine.
weekends, we the only days.
I have one more question about the letters to Santa. What do we do if a kid is requesting a whole list of toys and how do we handle that?
We have a form letter that has communications. I can show you the example of the form letter, how we respond to the children's
Okay.
letters.
I'm just wondering
Yeah.
if some kid writes a letter and wants a bunch of toys and
Yeah,
they don't show
we
up.
just basically acknowledge, thank you for, sending us your letter, and
Okay.
we do what we can. So,
Okay, moving on. I'm pulling off the request for resolution to support the Brownfield grant, number 5 for National Electric Coil. We went a different route on that.
I was wondering, what is that about anyway?
They're applying for a grant for brownfield cleanup. It's where the soil's been contaminated from years ago with some oil. So before that property can be reused in any way, it has to be cleaned up.
Right.
So there's a grant that I believe the state pays 75% of it and the business pays 25%. They come in there and test the soil, clean it all up.
So are they in the process then of thinking of selling for something or other? Is that why they want to do this?
That's one thing they want to, at the front of the property there, they would like to redevelop it into some small manufacturing residential
Where the
commercial.
parking lot is?
It's the 800. Part of it's in the township, part of it's in.
Yeah, the rest of the parking lot,
Okay.
Yeah, they did that when they did that cleaning up when they did the Lennox flats.
Yeah, I know they did Lennox Flats, but I've been concerned because I thought they were going to open up again. I was planning on staying there, apparently they're not.
No, they're gonna stay there. They're gonna keep their manufacturing part of it.
Oh, okay.
This is the front part of the property that's not being used.
Yeah, they got a big,
Okay.
big
Yeah.
parking lot, yeah.
Yeah, they don't, there's no plans for them to leave. They got,
Okay.
I think, 2 other factories throughout the country
Okay.
and,
That's what's fine.
yeah, they're not leaving.
Plus that coil in there is huge.
Gotcha, as long as they're staying out there.
Yeah, I understand.
I just can't sign off on it because my property touches Necro. So it's gonna come from the,
I already signed a letter.
yeah, from the board.
Okay.
So that's it. Okay, motion to accept the Delta Dental renewal at a 5.5% increase for all eligible employees and effective official for the 12-month contract starting January 1st, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2024.
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Graham?
Yes.
Trustee Desberger?
Yes.
Motion to continue employing the township attorneys on an annual basis for the year 2024. This is for Pete Griggs and Brocious Johnson and Griggs LLC.
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Graham?
Yes.
Trustee Desberger?
Yes.
Next I have is request a resolution to nominate Ronald W. Grossman as a representative of the Franklin County Townships on the Oswego Board of Trustees and to serve as a member of the Solid Waste Authority of Central Ohio Board of Trustees and represent Franklin County Townships for a 2-year term.
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Graham?
Yes.
Trustee Desberger?
Yes.
This next item I don't have on the agenda, so I'll use the flexibility part of this discussion about the carport for the police department. We've got the design back, we've got an estimated cost of $160,000 to build. That's what their estimated cost is,
360,000?
$260,000.
260,000.
To move forward, we need to do a bidding process, and we should have somebody to oversee the project manager. After talking with Julie, she doesn't think it's a good idea for someone from the township to be the project manager to oversee it, because it's just gonna pull that person away from their daily duties. She thought we should go back to the designer and see what the price would be for them to do the bid opening, and manage the project. If we want to continue on with those $260,000. What I have done right now, I did make a phone call to them, they're trying to work up a quote for me. So we have some more information for the next meeting.
And what was our initial estimate as to what the project would cost? I forget.
There really wasn't any, it was a guess, that maybe,
At least 150,000.
Okay. So 260 is actually with the current price marking on materials and stuff is actually pretty cheap.
And I have no idea what the initial, back in the day for the wooden frame,
Oh, when we built the complex over there,
Yeah.
it was about $175,000.
that's back in just for wood.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was true.
Yeah, and materials were so much cheaper back then.
We probably replacing part of it by now.
Yeah.
So this is something that's gonna be lasting in the future.
Yep.
So I just wanna get an update on that, something to think about if we wanna continue.
I'm comfortable with us continuing.
Okay, I'll move forward on that. Have some prices for the next meeting. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chief Bailey.
Monthly report, I'll just hit a couple sections of the responses. The division responded to 501 incidents, including 5 structure fires, 4 cardiac arrest patients, 3 stroke patients, and 8 overdose patients. Under Community Risk Reduction and Outreach Program, the OSU social work intern made 14 home visits and continues to research and connect residents with needed resources. A women's self-defense class was offered on the 4th at this location. Firefighters attended the Veterans Day ceremony at Veterans Park on the 10th. Firefighters also assisted with the free produce market on the 10th. The Franklin County Public Health Child Adult Immunization Clinic was open on the 14th and had 32 patients. And firefighters helped distribute 9 Thanksgiving dinners that were donated to residents.
That's awesome.
Next, we had request for PO in the amount of $12,522 payable to Krieger Ford for repairs to extra medic vehicle from fund, actually 2111-220-323.
I'm sorry, what were those numbers?
2111-220-323.
The fire fund instead of the EMS fund.
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Green?
Yes.
Trustee Beckberger?
Yes.
And just a reminder for everybody, candy packing is December 14th at 3820 Cleveland Avenue, starting at 6 p.m. Going until we finish, 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how many people show up.
I sent out a mass email and put it on next door. I'll probably be the only one there.
That's okay.
It's a good
We'll get
time.
it done. Santa Parade is December 16th, starting at 9 a.m. both sides of town.
9 or 9:30?
9:30, actually, sorry.
It is actually 9:30?
It is 9:30.
Okay.
We changed the time this year.
Santa, you did half hour.
Yep.
Do you want me to push that out? Do you want me to push that out, Chief Fraley, to let everybody know? It starts at 9:30 now, because all our communications has, up to this point, stayed at 9.
That's fine. Yeah.
I'm just asking. Okay,
Yeah, when we get started, it's at
yeah, okay,
9:30, but
okay.
I'll have people on Elmore waiting from
Yeah.
9 o'clock in the morning when you get there.
They'll be calling.
2 o'clock in the afternoon, so that's all we have.
Thank you. Chief Jones?
Good evening. For the police department for the month of November, we had 558 calls for service. 1 VOA, 6 shots fired calls. Domestic violence is, as everyone has seen on the news, is still on an increase, especially on the east side of township. We had over 18 last month. Stolen vehicles, I know whoever watches the news in here has seen some recent events with stolen cars and juveniles. We still have a big problem with that in the township. Actually had one today, and they ran from Officer Cuccio on Cleveland Avenue, ended up down in Groveport, Madison Township, wrecked the car, ran into a creek, and both of them were apprehended. This went on all afternoon with these 2 individuals. I think for the year, I'll get some totals. I gave those to you, didn't I, Deborah, on the stolen vehicles off of our flock system. It's in the hundreds, just in Clinton County. So that's where we're at with the run volume. It's still pretty high. Has not been getting any better. Then I'd like to announce Heroes and Helpers, again on December 13th. Sergeant Burr and Officer Wallace have been doing a tremendous job. collecting donations for that, working with Target, 99-cent store, Crumb Cookies, Bath and Body Works is donating some stuff for the families, and I think we're doing close to 40 families this year.
Yep, and we'll be right around 40.
So we keep adding, so donations would be great. Moving on from that, I'd like to make a motion for a resolution declaring an intent to proceed with the election of a question of additional tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation. And this would be a request for a 6 mil levy for the police department.
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Green?
Yes.
Trustee Guestberger?
Yes.
So just for information for those in the audience, this next year, we've requested $800,000 to assist the police department out of our CETA funding. This levy would assist us in going back into the black, as those call it in budget number crunchers. But it also could have the possibility of allow us to hire 1 or 2 additional officers. Some folks know we did a survey prior to last year with the amount of runs we have in the township.
Additional stations, Double Methodist now diversion, because there's 3 hospitals diverting, Double Methodist, Grant, and Riverside. Time 1911.
We had a survey done by Waypoint Consulting that showed us at a level of needing 17 full-time officers to provide police protection, traffic enforcement, the community outreach we should be doing. We're operating with 12 right now. So with that additional funding and maybe some funding, we have to have some discussions going forward that would help us to get more officers on the street and put us back in the black instead of the red, needing CETA money to keep the police department propped up. Cost of equipment is going up 30 to 40%. Just a prime example, we had to purchase a new tire for a Chevy Tahoe the other day. On state bid, when there was good supply chain, we had state bid to purchase from. That tire cost about $225. Yesterday, it cost us $440 for one tire. So cruisers are going up if we can find them. Prices have been going up, and we're struggling. But my main priority is the protection of the township, and we need more officers to have that visibility. Crime around us is going up, and we're trying to keep it down in our pocket here. So there'll be more to come, I'm sure, with some stats figures and why we need what we need in the near future. It was there a roll call.
We already did.
Yes, we roll call.
You're gonna be there, all right.
And then we'll be getting many autographs for you all up there.
And then number 4, just an update on staffing issues with officer injuries. We've been struggling with that this year with a couple officers, and we're getting ready to struggle some more. I have 2 officers going in for knee surgery within the next few weeks that'll be out for 6 to 8 weeks. And another officer that had to have surgery back in the summer on an elbow. They have to remove the tendons now because it's got some problems with the tendons, and he will be out as well for 3 to 4 weeks. So again, our staffing levels, and we're getting ready to lose 3 for the next couple months. Moving on to number 5, I'd like to request a resolution for a purchase order. Purchase a 2023-2024 Dodge Durango to replace the cruiser that got totaled back in November from Jim Shorty Dodge in the amount of $41,492. The insurance from the wreck car will provide $23,843, with the remainder to be paid from Fund 2081-760-750.
Second?
Trustee Green?
Yes.
Trustee Guestberger?
Yes.
Next, I'd like to request a purchase order for our public safety for the equipment to be ordered for replacement of the cruiser in an amount not to exceed $16,000 from Fund 2081-210-430.
Second?
Trustee Green?
Yes.
Trustee Guestberger?
Seventh announcement, number 7, some awards for recent actions of officers and other correspondences. I know I shared with Trustee Guestberger, she was in one afternoon, actually got to see some of the video from this particular incident. I've been doing this for about 30 years now, and I can tell you the officers we had at this scene, with their training, the tactics they used, saved not only people in this house, and also the suspect's life, that could have easily been what we call a lethal force situation. So just some highlights on this. November 4th, 2023, Sergeant Reeves, Officer Cronin, also known as Officer Hughes. Those who don't know, she was married recently. Officer Mulvey and Officer Jackson responded to a domestic violence call involving a person armed with knives threatening family members. Upon arrival, Sergeant Reeves met the family members and encountered the person of interest in the back room with knives in each hand, threatening the lives of his family, and officers arrived on the scene. Using good tactics and training, and other responding officers cleared everyone out of the house. So we had officers inside the house, multiple family members, and they got everyone that wasn't with that suspect out of the house and contained him in a room, closing the door and trying to leave him in there. Once they got everyone out, officers maintained and contained the outside of the house for cover to await additional backup officers. During that short period of containment, the subject exited out of the back of the house armed with 2 butcher-style knives and began to flee on foot. Officers gave multiple commands for him to stop, but she ignored. Officer Cronin and Jackson pursued him on foot and used less lethal taser deployment, getting him to drop the knives and be taken into custody. Watching the body cam video of this, when this gentleman standing in a room coming in Sergeant Reeves with 2 knives in his hand, again, that could have been a very, very difficult situation. So I want to commend all these officers that were involved in that situation for a job well done. And just to put a caveat to that situation, this is not always how these situations go. It depends on what the suspects do, what the officers are dealt with, and again, we had civilians inside that house that were family members as well. So it turned out good this time, but this isn't always the case. November 11th, within a few days of this incident, officers responded to a robbery at GameStop in Northern Lights. This was an armed robbery where the GPS tracker was put in the money that was stolen, and our officers along with Franklin County Sheriff's Office, Columbus Police Department, were able to locate the suspect vehicle that had the tracker in it, and they were able to apprehend and take these subjects into custody without incident. And that was an armed robbery in Northern Lights. And in the situation involving our cruiser with Officer Cronin, this happened on November 9th, all within the same week. She was up on 315 outside Lennox Town Center here, and she was struck by an impaired truck driver, at a high rate of freeway speed, who was driving erratically, driving through a construction zone, hitting barrels, and rear-ended her cruiser at about 70 miles an hour. It pushed that cruiser about 100 feet down the highway. Thank God she wasn't hurt. She did spend the night in the hospital for observation, and the prosecution of this driver is still underway, so I can't give you much information beyond that point because it's going to Franklin County Prosecutor's Office for some serious, because it was a construction zone, active, and because injury to a person in the construction zone. So it's some very serious charges this individual's looking at. And last highlight I have, December 12th. Next week, Officer Jeffrey Bingham has been selected by MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. Mothers Against Drunk Drivers received the MAD Award of Excellence for his outstanding efforts to reduce impaired driving and making the most arrests for impaired driving in Clinton Township this year. So I'd like to give congratulations to Officer Bingham for his actions on that.
That's awesome.
And then last thing I have is an executive session.
You're okay if we wait till the...
Yes.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, it's been the monthly report for the Public Works Department. Just some highlights here. We've collected over 75 tons to the end of last month of liens, and we're still collecting them. Tomorrow, we're going to try to do our last drive through the township. If we get it all done tomorrow, that'll be our last day, and we'll get things switched over for the snow and salt. If not, we'll finish up Monday, Tuesday. Then I have on my report is 28 tires collected so far, but it was 38. There's a typo on that. And we got them hauled in. It ended up being just about 3/4 ton of tires that that we've collected out of the alleys and stuff, throughout the township. We did get the tree planted at South Park for BJ Harper, and we have the monument plaque installed also. That's all I have for the report. Want to have a discussion for the OPWC grant for fiscal year 2025. This is one over by Case Road in Minnie about the storm sewer improvement. We end up coming in at 199, our score. The cutoff for the OPWC grant was 206. We kind of found this last year with the Walford Mormont project. We can, I'm asking the board if we wanted to continue with the small government program. We will have to do that under resolution, I believe, to participate in that program. And we're first on the county list for that, which we was last year with our project last year too. But that'll be a statewide competition there for that. So as for just asking, request a motion to participate in the small government grant program with the Case and Maine storm sewer improvement program.
So moved. Second.
Trustee Green?
Can we discuss it first? So there was, the choice is either to go small government or, what was the other choice again?
Well, we do the OPWC, that's the first one, we apply for that. If we don't receive that, then it goes to the small, we apply the same to the small government program.
Okay, and so, but
It's like the second round.
like, I mean, I know we had like a good 30-minute conversation this summer about this, and I still get a little confused, so I apologize. So we can either apply as a small government within Franklin County, or you can apply as a township within the state.
The OPWC grant is statewide also, but it's local. Franklin County is so large, their pool money stays right in Franklin County. And we applied for that, and we didn't receive that, but there is so much that they have to give to townships now. It used to be that way, they got away from it, now there's so much that is committed for townships. We did not fall on that because we did not score near high enough. I know we tried to adjust our numbers, we was hoping for a 204, it ended up being 206 was the cutoff. So there's two other townships that need to get funded. When you don't receive the OPWC funding, you have a second round chance with the small government.
Okay.
And that's what we're asking that's why I'm requesting a motion to participate in the small government program. And we may get funded that direction.
Okay. I know it's confusing, but thank you for clarifying that, I appreciate it.
Okay, Trustee Green?
Yes.
Trustee Jester?
Yes.
The next I have discussion for paving for 2024, year 2024. I've looked at our sections that we had mapped out, and I'm thinking University View would be the next one on the list. The county already has some of the figures already done up for them. They want to have this by the end of last month. But I think since they already have them measured up, it'd be a pretty easy one for them to come up with the quantity and the price. So let me move forward on that. No, we don't need a motion.
Just to confirm, we have $150 of this is coming out of general fund?
150,000?
Yeah, 150,000. And then didn't we also say that we were gonna do like a certain amount out of roads? Or was that only for last year? Are we only setting aside our non-permanent appropriations of 150 from the general fund?
So much out of general fund, so much out of
Jesse.
That's Z, okay. I was just trying to find it.
Yeah, so out of, looking at the permanent appropriations for next year, we have 350,000 allocated with Gen Z monies. And I think, and then 150,000 for road resurfacing. So, all
Okay.
total, that's potentially $500,000.
Where's the, do we not have the Dev Z on this list? Didn't we put the Judzy into general?
Yes.
Okay.
We have
Oh,
$50,000.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Alright. Thank you.
It doesn't mean we're greenlighting spending $500,000 next year, it's just, is allocated for these purposes if these grants come through.
So everything I'll do, I'll just have the county work up an estimate for that. Once we have the estimate, then we can decide whether the motion to go ahead and do the paving. And, one other thing I didn't have on the agenda was I attended the Cook Road Project open house. And,
The engineer's office?
well, this was at the school. on Cook
Yeah.
Road. But through the engineer's office is one to put it on. So I do have a little flyer for them. They say you can get on the county's webpage and you can get all this information. You actually zoom in on it, you get on there. They're gonna do a lot of work there. I think it's gonna be like $4.5 million, maybe $5 million. They're gonna do, it's gonna go all the way from Carl to Cleveland Avenue. And they're gonna address the issues. We've had, I think you said 15 wrecks in 3 years at Walford and Elmore. It appears that they're gonna take out the turn lanes. I guess that's been a lot of the issue there, that cars come up and they don't see the second car in the other lane, so they come on through and this becomes, it's kind of blocking everybody's vision. So it appears that they're gonna eliminate that, just the 2 lanes there. There's gonna be a 10-foot multi-use path on the north side. There's gonna be a 5-foot sidewalk on the south side, all the way through. So a lot of people was complaining about the large trees at Elmore and Walford obstructing the stop signs and that nature. So it appears that's gonna be removed. They're gonna have a street lawn. There are gonna be some trees in some of the areas that don't have any issues with utilities. So the biggest complaint was, everybody was complaining about speed. How, you know, they want to control the speeders. It'd be great if you can, I don't know how to do that.
Plus it's not up, most of the road isn't up.
But it was a productive meeting, I thought.
Are they seeking any more comments, or is there anything for us to link them up?
There is, you can go on there for the comments. I did snag a couple of the forms.
We'll just try to remember to put the link in the minutes here.
Yes. So I've got some more for that.
Great.
But I noticed we don't have one for code compliance tonight. So I'm finished up.
I don't have anything other than I provided you with the quarterly report and then also the monthly report. The highlight for me was that I took a look at the Westerville corridor with all the used car lots and things over there. We've had a lot of problems with vehicles parked too close to the roadway and the parking zones. And they're not allowed to have any wrecked automobiles outside of the buildings. They have to be not visible. There was one in particular that they did a little bit of compliance, and within 2 weeks, they were right back to the same thing again. However, they haven't paid their property taxes in 2.5 years, so they're gonna be foreclosed on by the Tri-County Treasurer's Office. So the likelihood is that they will not be here next year. It takes quite a bit of time for that to transpire through the process. Highlighted a couple of properties for you guys. 3806 Walford, which is the house that we've been really working on. COCIC stepped in and helped us out with that. They've done the gas line removal, the asbestos abatement, and they will be tearing that house and garage down sometime this month, probably towards the end of the month. Another property at 3855 Walford, which is right across the street from the Veterans Park. That house has got 5 vehicles in a row that are buried there under fallen trees and things. And the Frank County engineers, at my request, went over and inspected it, and the roof is leaking. And they were given a 30-day notice to take care of, fix it, and the gentleman never took care of it. So that house is now going to be going in front of the environmental court. And if he fails to take care of it, there'll be injunctions and fines, and maybe ultimately the house will be torn down also. So I'm just here to provide you guys with an update as to where we're at and the general course of what I'm trying to do Dave and I talked a lot about this. We're trying to just make everything in the township work better, and just work with getting the cars and the grass is cut. And then we had a couple projects this summer where we cut a property, and then I had another one in particular. I sent them letters and told them they had to take care of it, and they sold it. So the new people bought it. I got a hold of them 2 days after they bought it, and they said, we wondered why he never said anything about cutting the grass, and they were over the next weekend and cleared everything off. They were wonderful with it. So my goal and objective is to try to work with the people, provide them with other alternatives to do this. Environmental court is something that's available through us, but I have to go to Franklin County and have them take and run with it. But the idea is to try to get as much voluntary compliance as humanly possible. So that's all I have.
Do you know from filing to actually going in front of, is it Judge Mingo?
Yes.
What is that length? Is that like a 45-day process?
It's not even, I can't even give you that time frame. What'll happen is, if we have a property that I find and I send them a letter and tell them this is, something needs to be taken care of. I send the first notice, then you send the final notice. And if they ignore me, then what I do, I can either come to the trustees and say, we have a resolution and we want to go clean this up, or I can make a referral to Franklin County's zoning, which is what I've done with quite a few of them. Franklin County then sends out a series of letters to them, and if they fail to comply and take care of all that, then it'll be taken and given to Adria Fields, which is the environmental prosecutor. She refers it for prosecution, and then it would move into Mingo's court. And in some instances, that could probably take 4 months, maybe longer. Just depends on the volume of cases that they have. I know that Kelsey Shires is our Franklin County zoning person I work with. She has recommended, I think, 6 different properties that I brought to her attention for prosecution. She's doing a fantastic job with us. We work very well together. So right now I have a really good relationship with her, but I've also been working with the city of Columbus and some other people, and I've accumulated a large number of contacts with a lot of the property managers that do the residential stuff and the apartment buildings. So I have all these contacts that we can reach out to that I can try and get things done. But the timeline is kind of open-ended. Depends on the volume of prosecution that they're handling throughout the entire Franklin County. That's all I have.
Dan, you've been here going, what, close to 13 months?
Yeah, the 21st of this month will be 13
And
months.
what's your case numbers?
As of today, I'm at 140 cases since I was hired, and I have, in the course of this calendar year, I'm at 122 cases that I've worked, so.
I just thought that was something important.
Well, I shared it with them. Thanks, Dave, that meant a lot to me.
He's the man, Dan's the man.
All right, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Appreciations.
I have a few. Chief Jones and Des Steele, you've done an amazing job over the past month just getting through this tax levy and pushing it. All of the work that the two of you have done has been incredible, and the fact that it's literally just been kind of 30 days and we've already pretty much got it done and it's baked in, we're doing it, it's fantastic. So great job, you guys, you're really working hard. And then Dan, you have done such an incredible job. Everyone here is always talking about economic development and the importance of that. And another hugely important thing is community development, and all of the work that you're doing really helps, plus the beautification award and these road improvement projects are doing a huge job of helping us improve our community and everything that we do. So thank you so much for the amazing amount of work that you do. You work so hard.
Well, thank you very much. But it's all part of a team effort for us too. I mean, Dave and I talked a lot about these things, but thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I don't have appreciation, but I do want to acknowledge the fact, excuse me, that today is December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. Everything that's going on in the world today, We can go back to Pearl Harbor Day for the beginning of a lot of this stuff.
I just want to bring up, you guys do a very good job on the newsletter, very informative. It's very-
Yeah, the newsletter is
Very
outstanding.
informative, yeah.
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Chief Jones, I'm gonna read your motion first and then read the other one, but we'll do yours first. Executive session. All right, so at this time, I would like to enter into an executive session per 121.22G1 to consider the appointment, employment, or compensation of a public employee. And the second one is pretty much the same, but do I still need to read it?
No, just plural.
No, okay, all right, employees.
This is the police, this is the policeman, right?
Well, there'll be
We're gonna do
police
one
and
and the same.
admin.
That same reason. All right.
Second?
Trustee Green?
Yes.
Trustee Desberger?
Yes.
7:36.